Today I'm going to show you guys how to embroider on these puffy jackets. They're slick and quilted and sometimes can give you some problems, but I'm going to show you how to make it simple. Let's go. Okay, first off, I unzipped them a little bit so you can get behind. These ones do have a zip up front. This will work on anything, even if it's not a zip up front. First off, I am going to lay it flat on a table. I'm going to take my stabilizer and I'm going to put it down underneath the jacket. I'm using 2 layers of a cutaway stabilizer pre-cut. You don't have to. You can use 1 layer. You can use a layer of cutaway, a layer of tearaway, 2 layers of tearaway. I prefer the cutaway on these particular jackets. You use what you like and what's best for the job that you're doing. Okay, I'm gonna place my mighty hoop underneath there. I'm pretty good at, I've done a bunch of these jackets, so I'm pretty good at gauging exactly where they need to go. I'm gonna bypass this zipper right here a little bit. Okay, so here's the trick. I'm gonna use this. It's water-soluble stabilizer. A lot of times they'll use this on towels, fluffy blankets, things like that. But I'm going to use it in this particular application because it's going to help keep the embroidery machine from pulling up on this and making weird little holes in this particular fabric. Okay, I got this centered over my mighty hoop. I got this particular stabilizer on Amazon just because I needed some in a pinch for a job. You can buy it from the embroidery places. I'll link it down below. I actually really liked this stabilizer. I was pretty happy with it. I do wish that it was a little bit bigger, and I think the other sheets were like way bigger, but they work for most things that I'm doing. So we're gonna go ahead and work with it. So take your mighty hoop, let it snap down on there. So this is something that you usually really are not supposed to do in embroidery. You're not supposed to tug at your fabric, but in this case, I've got this fluffy, puffy jacket with quilting in between. So now it's made this thing fluffy and puffy here. This fabric has 0 give. There's no stretch in it. See, if I pull and tug, there's 0 stretch. Now maybe at a diagonal you can, but you can't pull it in the other directions. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give it a little tug, just kind of like the top layer. The bottom is quilted too, but I'm kind of just worried about this top layer. And you can see through this stuff. I don't think you can see it on the video, but you can see the lines. So I can see that I'm keeping these lines nice and straight, which is kind of handy. Sorry if I'm getting in the video film here. So sometimes I will float this particular stuff on certain garments, and what I mean by float is I would hoop the garment and the stabilizer first, and then I would just float that on top. And when I would do that would be sometimes when I'm doing towels or I need an extra layer, and it's really just to keep the nap so you can stitch over the nap on a towel. I don't need this. I really want this hooped in here because it's helping me stabilize this, because what happens with this stuff when it's quilted, if you don't get something on top of it, when your needle, every time your needle stitches in there, it wants to pull that puffiness up. So we're gonna rectify that. Okay, that one's ready to embroider. We'll put that on our machine in a minute. So, by the magic of television, I already have one embroidered here, and what I'm going to do is, I've got my handy dandy little scissors. I'm going to clean up a little bit here real quick. So every once in a while I get a little loop of thread there. We're going to go ahead and clean that up. So what I do is I pull the majority of this off first. If you can get in here, I like to get the big chunks out, but if you can't, you can't. I mean, you just do what you can. Don't take forever time on this because you'll be driving yourself nuts if you do. Okay, so you're gonna have all these little parts that are left over in here. Can you guys see those? So let's see if we can reset my camera a little bit better. So you have all these little parts left in here, and I'm not going to pick all of those out by hand. That's going to be a pain in the behind, and I don't want to do that. So this is water soluble. The first time somebody washes this, it's going to wash out. But 1, this is a jacket. People don't wash their jackets that often. 2, you don't want to give that to a customer like that. That's ugly. They'll be like, what the heck did you just give me? So I'm going to show you what I do. you have to get it wet. You can wipe it with a rag, but I'm going to show you the trick that I've learned the best. Now, you do not want to use water soluble stabilizer on items that shouldn't be getting wet or that are going to stain if you spray them with water. This particular jacket is meant for outdoor use. It sheds water, it's insulated, it's going to be just fine. So what I do is I spray water. You don't need a ton, just a little bit like that. It'll dissolve it. I'm using a spray bottle that's meant for hair. I've had this bottle for a long time. I prefer the ones that are meant for hair. You can buy them at Walmart, you can buy them on Amazon, go to your hair supply store. You go ahead and you get one of these. They spray a really fine mist. I like that. It's your preference. You can do whatever you want. If you have a different spray bottle, use that. So now the next trick is I use a microfiber cloth. This is just a clean microfiber cloth. Now, if you guys have used microfiber cloths, if you touch them, they have these like different kind of nap than a regular towel. If you take a microfiber cloth and you just wipe right over that, voila, all of that comes off. And it dries up. This towel, you can keep using it over and over and over, and as soon as you wash it, it just washes all that out. So now you've got this perfectly clean looking item. I'll trim the stabilizer off the back, zip it up, fold it up, and go ahead and give it back to my customer. And that is how you embroider on some puffy jackets and get nice results.